Everybody to FutureSkills Reading. Really pleased to see everyone here. I'm going to do most of the intro because Adam is still doing the kind of online side of the door and stuff. Today we're going to be talking about a thing called the AI Strategy Canvas. This is a new canvas. We will be playing with it potentially in physical form here. You can use it on the Mirrorverse as well. We'll be kind of just explaining it, working out what it is, how it works. Okay, so it's a new canvas. This is literally the first time we've done it in a kind of open group. Why is that not doing anything? But first, we're going to do an icebreaker. So if you can all get your phones out, please. So we're going to do the icebreaker on Miro so that all the people who are online can do this as well. Those of you who are online, if you want to scan that as well. So what this will do is it'll bring you up to a little interstitial page for our Miro board, which looks a bit like this. So the question I want you guys to answer is in our icebreaker is, how are you using AI either individually, in your teams, or as an organization? Don't mind which one. It's making them massive at the moment on the Miro board, but that's fine. So people are using for meeting notes, ping. Someone just being pinging, okay, good. Summarization of documents. I need to make these a bit smaller because they're going to be massive. It's going to run out of space quite quickly. Make me sound better. Oh, who thinks it makes them sound better? Anyone in the room? Because I don't know if we can actually pick up stuff online, can we?
People can type in the chat online. We won't be able to hear you, so don't try and do it.
Okay, lots of great ideas. Summarization of documents, summarizations of insights, finding the right document. Looks like lots of people can't find documents and lots of people don't like what's actually written in the documents. Meeting notes, PRs. Who's using AI for PRs? Anyone in the room? Excellent, excellent, good, good.
And vibe coding.
Who here would say they are a vibe coder? I know we're not going to beat you up, just to be clear. Adam is a self-confessed vibe coder. He actually knows how to code as well, but also vibe codes as well. What else are we getting? Creating projects at home, generating code reviews, Jira search. Did anyone notice that Rovo went on Jira, went general release yesterday? Yeah, so basically all your Jira instances will now have Rovo as a side panel, assuming you pay them. Every paid option is in that. GitHub Copilot, excellent.
Some bedtime stories. My children, amazing. I actually know somebody working on an AI automated assistant that can help with that. So, yeah, very exciting. In fact, maybe they've joined the pool.
Excellent.
This is fantastic. I love the fact we've got so many ideas in the room. I think this is our most successful icebreaker.
Well, I mean, because normally it's online and people like sort of quietly go and do stuff. But actually, we've got a whole group of people here who are actually physically doing stuff as well, which is good. So many, so many.
I was talking to somebody today who it is like every job is being applied for by like 200 people because everybody can do everything thanks to AI. Interesting change.
Yes, so we can multiply our impact, but also then everybody else can. Yeah. So how are we dealing with that sort of stuff? Excellent. Quizzes. So has anyone tried Gemini's guided learning? It's like really nice. So I was doing a Google course the other day, and basically you give it the context, you give it some documentation, and then it will write quizzes. It will focus on specific parts of the stuff. Really, really clever. Reviewing multiple job specs, creating healthy meal plans.
Oh, yes.
Was that you, Gigi, when the chicken wings turned up? It's a right timing. It said like, please, what should I eat today? And I think it said chicken wings, Gigi. Excellent, excellent. Good, good. Okay, so as you can see, lots of people are using AI for lots of different things. And this is kind of one of the reasons that the canvas were kind of put together, to start to go actually, cool, nice experimentation, lots of interesting tools, lots of interesting things. Some of this stuff is about you as an individual. You'll also notice most of these on here are sort of individual into team. Yeah, they're in that sort of space. if you are running an organization, this is what's happening in your organization. People are doing lots of this stuff. And so therefore, what we're going to go through today in terms of the canvas is a bit about the individual, about how you enable yourself, a bit about how teams might want to think about enabling themselves, but also about how organizations think about this. So how I am a CIO, how as a CIO, I need to make sure that my organization has safe, secure, cost-effective AI, okay? So, and it doesn't do crazy stuff, but also manage my CEO's desire to deal with their FOMO, because every CEO in the world at the moment wants more AI, and they want it quicker, but they don't know why, okay? So, lots and lots of good stuff in that. So, thank you very much. Thank you very much for everyone online for the icebreaker. That was great. Good. So that was our icebreaker. Welcome, welcome. So we just kind of made you sit to the front. Hello, I'm Stuart. Welcome. So that was our icebreaker, and using a nice feature in Miro. So we'll talk a little bit more about Miro in a second as well. So that was us, done that. We're going to do intros. First off, we are now sharing all of our content on this Miro board. So if you want to follow us, this will take you to that Miro board. It's got a password, but it kind of goes through all that kind of content. So we'll share all this stuff afterwards as well. But the aim of this is one of the bits of feedback we got from Agile Reading was really good. How do I get the slides? Really good. How do I get the slides? Really good. How do I get the slides? And we're like, okay, we should provide a place for people to come to, and we will put all the slides on it. And we'll put the links to the video on it. We'll put all of our content on it. We'll put all of our shout outs on it. So that's what we started doing last month. So last month was the first time we were running in this new format. And so that's there for as a reference kind of document. Password called FutureSkills. We want to thank our sponsors. So we have 3 sponsors now. So we have Miro. So Miro kindly sponsor us as a meetup. We use Miro a lot as a company. We're a Miro solution partner. We will be using Miro. We've done Miro already in the icebreaker. We will be using Miro later on. Probably more of the people online, because you guys might do it on paper in the room. So thank Miro for what they do for us. And Digital, both me and Adam work for And Digital. They give us time and space to do this kind of stuff alongside our jobs. So thank And Digital. And our new one, which is great, because as I said, like up until now, we've been doing stuff remotely. And actually, Penta Hotels, this is such a lovely room to be in. It's such a lovely space to be at. And so see people, have a massive screen, do this kind of stuff in person. So thank you very much for Penta Hotels as well. Okay, so that's our thanks.
Or the Miro, the password for Miro.
The password for Miro is FutureSkills.
FutureSkills,
all lowercase. Yeah, I tend to do all this kind of weird sort of camel case things in most things, but sometimes it gets a little bit hard when you do the passwords. So that's the FutureSkills piece for that. I didn't know Adam was going to be here today, so I only put me on this slide. Up until about 3 o'clock, Adam was going to be still in Guildford running an AI training course today. So I didn't imagine he was going to be here. So I'll do my introduction. So Stuart Munton, Chief of Group Operations and Technology at And Digital. So I'm a kind of CIO, kind of CTO. Sometimes I fix the printers and the Wi-Fi, depending on what kind of mood anyone in. Adam, do you want to do your intro? Because you're actually here. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Adam Hall. I'm an AI principal at And Digital. Very new into that role, but the key thing that I'm trying to do with And Digital is help clients and our Andies learn more about how to use AI productively and efficiently. So,
lovely. Yeah. Excellent. Good. So that's us. Logistics are here. So the toilets, if you need them, like normally we would be saying like toilets, you know where they are. It's a joke about, you know, no fire alarms online and all that kind of stuff. Toilets are literally just over there. So if you need the toilet, over there. There are no fire alarms planned. It does go off. The fire exits are just over there or out the way you came in the front door. We are recording. The reason we record this is because of the people who can't be here tonight. So as an example, like 89 people signed up for this. There are 20, 30 people in the room, probably 15 online. So there'll be a set of people who wanted to see this who won't see it. So that's the reason we record this, so we can share it afterwards. So we record share the recording so people can see us rambling on about stuff. Do you have a code of conduct? So generally the summary of the code of conduct is being lovely to each other, be nice to each other, help each other if people have a question, sort stuff out. There's enough few people from And Digital who are around the room who will also be facilitating and helping through this. If you do find there's a problem, we do have a full code of conduct. You can find it online. If you want to talk to us about anything, if you feel ostracized in any way, please come and talk to us. It's never happened. This is the 66th meetup, but actually this is, as I said, this is the first time we've got this sort of group in person. So yeah, it's been lovely to each other. Okay, that's our code of conduct. Shout out for our next session. We used to do the shout outs at the end and then found that some people were kind of drifting off by that point. So we're doing them at the start now. So next month, we've got Sue Craig, who's also from And Digital, but she's going to be talking about data challenges. So, and how you organize your data and how you think about that. Quite some of the stuff we're going to touch on in terms of data and input into the canvas. We'll cover some of the stuff as well today, but actually this is kind of more about how you kind of cover your kind of data office and how that kind of works. So come along to that. We will be here in this space again, starting at 6 o'clock. So please join us. Right, good. So over to me. I've kind of introduced myself as the host, and now I'm going to introduce myself a little bit as kind of what this is. So there we are. Apologies. Cool. Good. Are we carrying on? Are we hearing everything online? Is that still working, Adam? Nice. Good. Okay. So over to the sessions. I'll hand over from me to me. That's good. So that's good. I'll introduce myself. So I'm going to talk about AI strategy canvas. You can see kind of versions of it on the table, and the Mirrorverse version of it will be available in a second, so you can kind of download it. But what it was for is just to help shape thinking at multiple different levels. And so we're going to talk about it for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then we're going to kind of play with it and see how you feel about it. If you do have any feedback on it, please give it to me or any of the other people from And Digital in the room, because we will update it, because it's quite quick to update canvases and change things and fix. So strangely, also, if there are any typos in it, please find them. That's good, because my dyslexia doesn't generally see those sorts of things. It just sort of goes, yeah, that's good enough, and moves on. So that's what we're going to work on. This is me. So this is my kind of happy introduction slide. Look at me looking very young in my corporate picture. I've been doing what we would class as agile digital transformation for about 25 years. So a lot of that, the last 11 years of that has been at And Digital, but before that, I worked for lots of different people. I've worked for about 50 organizations. A lot of that has been accelerated through doing consulting. So sort of 5 companies before And Digital, probably 45 while I've worked at And Digital over the last 7 years. I've kind of been responsible for end-to-end practice evolution. What that means is lots of different bits about kind of agile, some software engineering bits, some how ways of working in our product, our discovery models, various different things from how And works. Other thing I do as a side piece, I'm now on the UK government's Digital Skills Council. So I advise the government about how they should be thinking about digital skills. So if you want to talk about digital skills and digital enablement, come and have a chat to me afterwards and we'll talk about that. So this is kind of stuff into DCIT and the government and the DFE about how do we increase digital skills in the UK. So that's me. What we're going to talk about in terms of the canvas is a bit of an overview. So I'll talk you through the sections quickly. We will look through some examples. So I'll show you what the examples are. But I've written 3 examples on the Mirrorverse, which we'll look through on here. People online can look at them on Miro as well. And then we'll get into actually using it. From an overview point of view, so show of hands, who here has used a canvas before of any kind? Okay, good. So out of half-ish of the people, which is good. So for those of you who have never used a canvas before, a canvas is a really nice thing because it gives you this structure. So it gives you a kind of way. So this as an example is the canvas we're going to look at today. Yeah. So this is quite a detailed canvas. So some of the canvases can have 6 blocks on it. This one has quite a lot of blocks on it because there's quite a lot of specificity in it. But it's really good for helping you to navigate a knowledge domain, thinking collectively. So you can do these things as groups. So you can do canvases as individuals, you can do canvases as teams. There's a lot of kind of interesting stuff you can do. It kind of helps you to kind of get into that kind of thing. So lots of good reasons to use canvases. Obviously, any model is going to have challenges. There will be things you think about when you go, should that be in that box or that box? Some stuff will sit on the fence. That's fine. Yeah, there's no problem about that. So it's helping you to think about compartmentalization of concepts. So it does stuff. You will find that in your context, because general models moving into kind of applicability and everywhere, some stuff will be missing. That's cool as well. Just fix it, just change it. The reason this stuff exists on the Miroverse is you can get a template of it and you can change it. You can delete things, you can add things, you can do whatever you like with it. But the concept in this is just to help you to think about how you're going to think about AI. Yeah, so it's a meta thinking pattern. That's what a canvas gives you. Okay. For those of you who have used canvases before, what examples of canvases have you guys used? Anyone? Retro, so canvases and retros, yeah, good. Canvases for painting, yes, yes, yeah, good, good. The artists in the room. Excellent. Event storming, lovely. And there's lots and lots and lots of different canvases. So if you look on the Miroverse or you look at the Miro templates, there's loads of different templates on there. This one that we're going to go through today, I put onto the Miroverse last week. So it's brand new into it. It's had like a couple of hundred people use it so far. So that's where this is coming from. This is where kind of canvases go to. So the template itself, as I said, looks like this. So those of you online, you may want to click on the Miroverse template link on here. Because it will take you to the Miroverse, and Miroverse looks a little bit like, where is it? Looks a bit like this. So this is the Digital Miroverse templates. So we have this one here, which is the AI strategy canvas. This is the one we're going to look at today, which is the one that's on the table there. We do have a few other canvases. So there's one which we have as a discovery starter kit. So the discovery starter kit is about, kind of strangely, how you might start doing a discovery and how you organize that. And then we have a couple of ones on kickoffs. Okay. So those are the ones, but we're going to look at this one at the top here, okay? Yeah, so the pages you'll find are tiny, tiny, tiny font. Cool. Has everyone in the room got a physical version? It's good. Okay. So we're going to talk through the kind of different sections of it, the different layers of it, the different bits of it. As I said, it is really best off used on Miro. Okay, but because we're in physical space, I thought I'd bring some physical versions of it so people can physically touch them, look at them, read them, and play with them. Okay, it is best used in Miro. Okay, because you'll find on the Miroverse template, we also use Miro AI. It gives you some ideas. It helps you brainstorm stuff. There's a whole load of interesting stuff on the Miro side, which will help you. But for the people in the room, because you may not have all your computers with you, we've got physical versions. Okay, people online, do they seem to be able to get it? Okay. Excellent, excellent. Right. So that's the canvas, and this is what we're going to walk through. So there's a few sections on it. So starting at the top row, we start with why. Okay, so why are you looking to use AI? So a fairly general thing. You'll find in each of the sections, there's a kind of question at the top and a kind of an under question, but then also some examples. Yeah, so there's 3 examples in each of the boxes. One is at an individual level. So this individual to automate routine tasks and free up time for creative work. Cool, that sounds like a great thing for using AI as an individual for. The team to improve communications, collaboration by summarizing meeting notes, etc., etc. So again, we had loads of meeting note stuff before. So these are just examples, so you don't have to use all these. And an organization to develop a new product line that leverages AI for personalized customer experiences. These are all generic. In the Miroverse template, there's a whole load of examples, worked examples, which I'll show you in a second. So start with why. Move on to the benefit. So actually, if we have a why, we need to understand kind of like how much we want it, what's the value of it. And then we get on to the impact, as in what's going to actually change if I have done this. So this is the top row, okay? Next row, bit more detail again. So who's actually going to be using this? Who's going to be involved in it? Is it you? Is it the team? Whatever else. How are you going to use this? Oh, that's okay. Hello. How are you going to use this? And by how, I don't mean what, I mean how. Okay, because how is I'm going to run a pilot. I'm going to do an experiment. I'm going to do something about how I do this, rather than what, because we do have a what, because what is actually what I'm actually going to use, what I'm going to do, what's the thing I want to make. And then if you are like me, who actually has to pay for this as a company, so I'm the CIO of a company, we have to pay for AI, how much is it going to cost? Yeah. From an individual point of view, it might be free. Yeah, it might be kind of cheap or whatever else. But actually, from an organizational point of view, you may be spending hundreds of thousands of pounds on something like this. Okay. So thinking about kind of some of those details in that middle row. Next row, we get into a little bit more detail. Just as a point of guidance with canvases, if you can only do 3 boxes, do the top 3. If you can only do 7 boxes, do the top row, the next row, etc., etc. Because it gets more details as you go through. I would say the bottom is slightly different because the bottom row is about actually how you're going to plan yourself and how you're going to organize yourself. So what data and ML ops do you need? So by data, as in what kind of data you have in your organization, where it's coming from, those sorts of things. By ML ops, I mean actually what technology and the operations stuff around that is going to process that data and give it to you. Okay. What tools and infrastructure do I need to use? So if I have an idea about LLMs and models and things I want to use, list them down. If I don't, I need to describe them because then I can go and find them. How are people going to learn in this? So it's interesting as an individual because you may do courses and those sorts of things, but actually learning and culture change from an AI adoption point of view at an organization level is significant. So you can lead horses to water, but they don't necessarily drink. We have run many campaigns at our company about AI enablement, and lots of early adopters and people who want to do it pull that stuff towards them. But there are still always, even in a technology consulting company, the kind of the second half, the people who are across the chasm, the laggards, even in a technology company. So how are you going to help that from a learning culture kind of point of view of an organization? Or how is you as an individual going to do this stuff? And not to do any AI talks about talking about risk, because there is always risk involved in things which are new and novel and interesting. But think about that from a kind of privacy, security, and ethics point of view. How are you going to think about that from either you doing stuff yourself, or you as a team, or you as an organization? Then finally, the bottom line. So the bottom line here is actually how you take the stuff that's at the top and take it into action. So to the top of this thing, you spent some time going, okay, here's the why, the impact, the how, the ML ops. This is the stuff I want to do. This is where I'm going. The reason the bottom is in 3 different sections is what am I going to do in this next quarter? Yeah, how am I going to actually step myself forward? So you go through the top bit, get all those details down, and go, what am I going to do? The next bit gets a little bit smaller. So what am I going to do next quarter? So what I'm going to do after this quarter? So it's a bit smaller, so you won't know how much to do. And then finally, what I'm going to do in the future. Okay, because you may have a long-term goal, but you'll probably be much more detailed in the now and the next rather than the future. Okay, that's why they kind of get smaller in terms of the sections. So I'll pause for a second because that's all the sections, and I'm going to show you some examples of, because it kind of starts to bring it to light. Does anyone have any questions at the moment about the sections? Yes, good. Yep. So for me, yeah. Again, I keep talking about risk and stuff. So this is where I was thinking about more the risk and mitigation stuff, and the previous one is sort of like business risk you're managing. Okay. So yeah. So that's that. Any other questions? Cool. Everyone just wants to get on and start drawing things and doing stuff, which is good. So blah 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 blah. So Adam, are there any questions online? Oh, lovely, good. Okay, so a canvas is useful, but canvas with examples is better. Okay, and that's why if you look on the Mirrorverse version of this, you'll find these examples. So I'll skip a couple of things because there's quite a lot of words on this one. But what I've done for the examples is I've produced 3 kind of personas. The first one is this one. So this is Helen. So Helen is a learning and development lead. Yeah, so I've tried to slightly abstract away from software because that's the world we all live in, but actually lots of other people use AI as well as software people. And so Helen has a strong background in corporate training and instruction. She wants to do some L&D. She wants to help people to adopt AI, but she actually doesn't work. She's a bit worried about her own skills first and how she's going to develop those, because how can she help her organization know how to adopt AI if she doesn't know how to do it herself. Okay, so that's the sort of the position she's come from. So she's going to think about how to look at her own PAL, which is actually doing some pilots and some tests for herself, her own kind of risks and issues about making sure that she's managing that sort of stuff. So there's a whole load of kind of content within here that will help. So I skip across that. So a slightly bigger version of that. So apologies, it's quite small when online. So, but the aim of these examples and the reason for this workshop is to kind of help you sort of get used to the canvas and then go and use it. And so if you look at the Miroverse version of this, it has the blank template and then into lots of other templates, lots of field examples. Yeah, so it has 3 field examples, one at individual level, one at team level, and one at organizational level. If you're completely stuck, you can get the AI on Miro to generate stuff for you. So, so AI of AI, it's a bit meta, but actually so. Let's see what happens when I ask Miro's AI to give me some feedback on this. See what it's going to do. It's going to think. Why has it not produced anything? It did flash some stuff up, didn't it? I don't know where it's gone. I will find it. I will fix it because this needs to be able to work. So the intent of this is actually it generates feedback. It's not working. Anyway, okay. So we have examples in the Miroverse, which we'll talk through. So Helen is our first example. So Helen's an individual. The benefit of doing a model which starts with individuals is you are all individuals. So therefore, you may not be an L&D lead, but actually you can relate to an individual. And you may all be thinking the same stuff at the moment about actually how do you personally do this? Okay, that may be the question you've got. Next example is the Scrum Dogs. So the Scrum Dogs is a software engineering team who works for the same company as Helen. Okay, so Helen works for an insurance company. This is a software engineering team. It's a web development team who works there. The reason they're called the Scrum Dogs is because I've worked with 4 different teams at 4 different companies called Scrum Dogs because they all thought it was funny. And so that's why my generic team for an agile from a Scrum team is always called the Scrum Dogs. Okay, so the Scrum Dogs themselves, web development team for a multinational insurance company called Omnisure. They are doing some software engineering. They want to work out how to be faster. So they're going to look at kind of the cost of the stuff. They're going to think about how do they increase velocity. They're going to think about how do they make sure that they're going to make it secure and not produce loads of bugs. Yeah. So as a software engineering team, they've got a set of risks and issues which are different to Helen's, because Helen's were about kind of how she wanted to be better at AI and how she was going to develop herself. So that's the Scrum Dogs. So they've got a kind of set of ideas of how they want to work on. And then the top level, the third level of this is at the organization level. And this is the Omnisure exec. Yeah, so this is the board at Omnisure who also want everybody to be using AI, but they want it to be secure and cost effective. So they're thinking about kind of data breaches from their risks. They're thinking about how much budget they need to assign to this. So depending on what level you're coming at this, so if you're coming at this from an individual level, a team level, or an organization level, or a team of teams level, and the kind of mid kind of point between that, produce some examples so you can have a look through those when you start to look at the Miroverse template, just to get used to it. Okay, so those are the examples, and those are the 3 different layers in terms of which way we've thought about to do to complete the canvas and the examples we put on. Does anyone have any questions at this point? Go for it. Yes. Yes, I did. I use AI to do almost everything these days. So I talk with Gemini. So I designed quite a lot of this, talking with Gemini. So if you use Gemini Live, and you can sit and go and walk and talk. I was walking down by the river, by the Thames, and I was talking about it. What sections can I do? Talking about it, kind of riffing with the AI, generating the concepts. It drops it all into a document, summarizes it back up again, and then you go and change it. So I love talking to AI as much as I like typing to AI. I think it's probably just how my brain works. Go for it.
I think a lot of companies probably the bits that they come up with are very similar.
Yep.
How many places that you go to where you can find out where you can get them.
Yeah. I mean, like the consulting side of me says hire a consulting company, and with our experience, we will talk to you about that. But quite a lot of the stuff we put on here in terms of this template is those sorts of generic ones. There are in consulting, there's always the thing that you know before you've even asked the question. Yeah, and some of those things in AI and risk are some of those. Data security, ethics, bias, all of the kind of long-term ones which have always been there since we've been working with AI are all there. The question is about how many of those can you actually manage? So some of the things you can control, and those are the risks and things you should face into, but also understanding which ones you're just going to accept are interesting as well. So if you go through a governance and risk kind of framework kind of piece, working out what things you can't change, because most of us, I don't know if anyone here works for a hyperscaler. Does anyone here work for Google or Microsoft or actually control the models? No? Okay, so we're not going to control the models, because they will. Okay, so there's some stuff in the risk we can control and some stuff we can't. And so that's why we try to focus on the bits we can control. But understanding which bits you aren't controlling is also useful. Stuff you just have to accept. Go on.
Next to software developers, they do have some for generative AI as well. So that's one to check out.
Yes. Excellent. Okay, so we are now going to get onto using the canvas. Yay! Because we didn't actually talk about stuff. So what I would like you to do is to get into groups of about 2 or 3. Okay. So if you can move around in the room into those little groups, and what we're going to do is we're going to spend about 15 minutes with you guys talking to each other about what you can see on the canvas, and then we're going to start see if we can put some details into it. Okay? So if you can move around in the room into groups of 2s or 3s, that's fine. If you want to actually write on it, you might be best coming to a table. So we have a table up here. If you don't, there's a little bit of space around the corner around here if you want a different space. For those of you online, thank you very much for carrying on and paying attention to us. If you can produce versions of it from the Mirrorverse, and then we will come and have a look at some of yours in a minute. You can post them back to us. So Adam, does that make sense? Cool. Cool.
So I can do a question.
Simply say hello to everyone and introduce yourselves as well. Sorry, I should probably have said that. Like, you're not psychopaths, that's fine. Do you want to join them around there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is the request to make an example with this canvas?
You can make an example. Do you want me to put an example on the screen?
No. What's the request again?
Just talk about it.
Talk about canvas.
Talk about the canvas, talk about how you might use it, what you might do, so have a look at some of the fields. What are you trying to do?
No, I was going to try and mute you, but I think the one person who is online, I think they were on there. You're going to come around the group. Hello. Right.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. Take Gigi's check.
Tags that are useful.
Next time it's fine. Don't worry. So let us know if you have any questions. Hello. So have a go at writing some things on it. Have a go at questioning what you might do with it. So there's because it's designed as a. Did somebody just trip on you?
Yeah.
What we want people to do is just we've tried to explain it, but explaining it doesn't really help. You kind of need to look at it and go, what does that mean? Talk in your group about it, and then we'll come back into the full group and go, cool, what do we think? What did we find out? What do we do? Okay.
For example, why are we using AI? So as individuals, why we are using it?
Would you use it as an individual, or would you use it? Is the first thing when we talked about it, we go like, actually, my team could do with that, or my company could do with that. So the leveling thing is to try and make it kind of multi-purpose. Yeah, and so that's the reason for it being on those three different levels. So we started off writing it at an organizational level. It was written for execs to set up organizational strategy for AI, and we kind of went like, oh, we could probably use it for teams. And we were like, well, actually, we could probably use this for individuals.
Okay, so hopefully there are people online who are able to see this. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to share a tab, and I'm going to go through an AI strategy canvas myself. And you can watch me, and you're welcome to join in. Just unmute yourself and start joining. That's cool. So what I'm going to do is work on a personal AI strategy canvas. Here we go. So why am I using AI? So I'll come up with some ideas. In our organization, we have lots of knowledge pockets, but no documentation. I want to get the knowledge out of people's heads and into conflicts. This is a legitimate use case that I want to use AI for. So there we go. Hopefully, people, you are welcome to just type in the chat if you want to offer me any ideas. Otherwise, I'm just going to do this by myself. What are the core value or benefits for your users or the organization? So it's frustrating when we discover multiple teams working on similar initiatives because there's no centralized backlog on our dispersed organization. I can't spell dispersed, by the way. Okay. How will this AI strategy fundamentally change your organization? So we want less duplicated work, more insight into what distributed teams are doing, and a quicker way at gathering the amazing developments our teams are working on. Okay, that was fairly easy to do, and as Stuart said, if you can do the top row, then there's success there. But I'm going to try and focus in on the next row. So who? Identify the people or teams responsible for developing and maintaining the AI solutions. It is a very dispersed organization, but I would have to say this is probably a central team who are closely linked to people and operations, as it involves documenting and people, operations going on. It would also need some sort of crack team of AI specialists and content designers, because I think it's good to have the best on such an initiative. Cool. Excellent. Well, I hope people are following along, and it's not too embarrassing. I'm just going to carry on doing this by myself, but you're welcome to shout in the chat if you have any questions, comments, or observations. Next one. How will you approach AI enablement? Okay, so is it pilot program? Is it agile development? Is it off-the-shelf solution? Okay, so yes, what would be good? We want some kind of transcription software, content design software. We probably need experts in LLM design, and perhaps rather than just the experts in the LLM design, it's also how we retrieve, so retrieval services, e.g. Someone who has done RAG before. But also, I would say that using this should be as easy as joining a meeting and talking. I don't think it should be any harder than that. So usage is quite easy, but what goes on behind the scenes is the clever AI stuff. Okay, what specific AI solution or model are you using? So I happen to know, well, Gemini, because we happen to use quite a lot of Gemini in-house for reasoning and processing, searching documents. But for interviewing, I know of a tool called 11 Labs for running the interview, transcribing the user's content, and making sure everything works. And we are currently demoing some other stuff, so N8N, for producing workflows to link up AIs and make sure everything slots together. Cool. All right, cool, excellent. I'm on it. 2 minutes left. So I still have 5 quadrants to finalize. So how will you acquire, prep, and manage data? Well, acquisition of data is actually afterwards, but I do think we should probably do some user testing. So run some user tests on existing projects to make sure everything works properly.
How are we doing today?
I'm doing good. I think I'm just designing it for people, and there are people listening, hopefully. I don't know if they're enjoying it. Yeah, I've got 2 minutes. Cool. What technologies are required? I think I've already mentioned this, and I guess this is where in this one, oh look, I didn't do estimated cost. Okay, I'm going to say £2 per interview. I'd say 800 interviews a year. So what's that? £800 per year. I don't. £1,600 a year.
Adam, do you want to come back first?
Cool. Let's do it. We will need to unmute you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I'm going to mute myself now. So thank you very much for joining me.
Are you talking about that? Yeah, they need a deal. Okay, so oh, need to turn the video on here and again. There we go. Oh, where's that one gone? There we go. Good. So good. In terms of working through the canvas, as I said, team at the back, like gold star for you guys, because actually, like literally every box was completed. If you were to give some sort of view to the rest of the group, have you got the other mic over there? Give it to them. If you've got a view for the rest of the group, what did you like? What did you not like? Yeah. So how did you feel the process you've just gone through as a group?
Do you mean the process of filling in the sheets?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, it makes you think. Like, it seems like they're progressively harder, you know. So,
yep.
Like initially, you kind of think the whole thing's going to be easy, but then you think, wow, you know, it's like you need to define every term, and then, yeah, it just gets like you can almost set out your whole work life from there, you know, in a way when you think about it. So, yeah, it's very useful for
the progressively harder bit is actually intentional.
Yeah,
so you'll find if you do this in Miro using post-it notes, you'll start chucking loads of stuff really quickly on the first ones, and then you'll find actually you want to move them into one of the below in the next row, and then they're in the next row. You start to describe ML ops accidentally when you're talking about some how, but actually it should be in that box. And that's the intent through the flow. So you get increasingly more detailed until you get to the bottom, and then what am I going to do? Cool. Who else had a good go at writing some stuff in? Okay. Well, no. How much did you get to? It's like
one.
You got one. Okay.
1 square.
We were starting the second.
Yeah,
Okay.
we were just starting the second one. We got lost in the first one on the nature of why.
The nature of why. And so like the meta why that goes with all this stuff, which is fine. Yeah. And and again, we gave you 15 minutes to talk to a set of potentially strangers, to introduce you to a potentially new set of questions, and if you had some conversation and you got to the end of why, it's a good start in 15 minutes. If like the team at the back, you got all of them done, and like they've got to 42 and we're all done. And so
The curious bit about this is a bit like you mentioned. Personally, when I wrote this, I was writing in an individual point of view, and then I look at it and go like, these are actions I want to do.
Yep.
But why do I want to do them? And then you find yourself in that situation you just mentioned of, if I was in Miro, I would be taking sticky notes and probably moving them across.
Exactly.
But it kind of becomes like a retro engineering of, why do I want these things now?
Excellent. Because again, one of the nice things of sticky notes is you can move them. Yeah, like this is a done board because it's quite nice in terms of that. But actually, when you're doing this as a workshop, you get like 50 in there, and then you start to move them all over the place, and then you start to consider it from multiple different levels at the same time. So if you've started to do this from a team point of view, you might think about how the organization is going to be. If you start to do this from an organization point of view, you may get to the team point of view. If you start to do it at the team point of view, you may start to think about it you as an individual. Okay, and so therefore there's that sort of kind of Russian nested doll kind of model of kind of like multiple applicability in a canvas. And that's why canvases are really good, because there's structures for you to have a thinking process. They're meta thinking practices. Yeah, that's why canvases are really nice as a thing. Any other thoughts from any of the other groups about what you thought, what you liked, what you disliked? This team here, because you were around the corner doing stuff.
Like, I think
Oh, sorry, we have another mic for people online.
we talked about like using a specific example instead of broad abstract idea.
Yep.
Yeah, and we started about thinking about like organizing small parties and making like the things by using AI and how this would empower a small business to exist. Yeah.
Oh, so Gigi's saying that, that at the back they can't hear.
Oh, sorry.
That does well for the people online, but
So you can just say that.
yeah. So what they were saying was they started with specific examples of what they might do, and so one of the nice things about using a canvas is you can get to that. You say, actually, that's what I'm going to do, and that was kind of the examples they were doing at the start of this.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Yep. Go for Adam.
So I was working alone. There are people online. I wanted to make sure they could see something. But essentially, I was working alone, and it was really easy because I have an idea in my head and I can work through it. And it's almost like I'm being prompted by AI for a change. I like it.
Yes. Meta prompting by bits of paper and pens. Any other feedback? Did anyone look at it and go like, I just hate this, I'm never going to touch it?
Yeah, we've definitely had this conversation just now. What I thought was the perspective. I found it a little confusing because I didn't know whether I have to include my personal stuff, like how I personally use AI or how I professionally use AI, things like that. So, or in my professional. In my professional usages, should I think of it as how I would use AI or how my team would use AI or the whole organization? And yeah, so the kind of context was a little off for me.
Yep.
But then I think it kind of gives you an overall idea of what to do, and and gives you like a clear plan. So,
Nice.
kudos
Yeah.
to that.
So to explain we had a very quite long conversation then about like my AI, my work's AI, what my work sees of me in an AI, what the AI I'm using to do my personal life does. Yeah. And how much of those see each other and how much they shouldn't. Yeah. And what you share and what you don't share. Yeah. And so it's not really a place we're in right now, because those of you will have, so I use my work Gemini, and I use a Claude account, so Claude Code at work, and then I've got a Gemini one account at home, and so therefore I'm using the same AI in some senses on both sides, but they don't know of each other, which is a good thing. But also at some point in the medium future, we're going to have to work out what we are willing to expose of ourselves. So actually the assistants on both sides can assist each other, and they can talk to each other and work with each other, because it would be good if my work assistant could schedule stuff with my life assistant, because those two things are separated by hours and days, like Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, etc. But they're not actually separated in me, because they come back together as a meta human in me. And so therefore working out how that gets done is going to be a really interesting place over the next few years, about personal exposure versus value. Okay, any other thoughts, questions? But give me this.
We had a look at it, and at an organizational level, that really looks like the right level of boxes. And but what I was also personally thinking is that it's also quite wide. So if your organization is very big and has lots of different business units, then maybe one canvas can't have everything.
Yeah, no, I like that, because you may want it divisionally, or by, if I've got 1,000 people here in the UK and I've also got 5,000 people in Canada, maybe I need different sections of it. Great.
And but then as a team level, it's useful to also inspire people as to what's possible.
Yep.
They may not be using AI, and possibly at a team and individual level, some of these boxes may be overkill.
Yeah, that's good.
Good starting point.
So it's really helpful, because one of the things you said there made me think about, has anyone here done scaled agile frameworks and safe and all that kind of stuff? Okay. One of the no booze, I mean, but one of the interesting thing they do is they change their meta model to the simple version, the bigger version, and the bigger version. Okay, and so you can click on different options. It might be quite an interesting thing, but as an individual, you may not need to think about ML ops, because you probably don't. But actually, it might just be interesting we can see if we can work out an AI version of it, a dynamic version of it, which does the 3 different levels depending on where you come from. Lovely, thank you. That was really helpful. Cool. Okay, so share my screen on there. Is it not showing? Okay. How do I share my screen on here? Entire screen. That one. Share. Cool. Cool. Which slides were we on? This one. Cool. Okay. So that is the end of our session. So the aim of this session was to introduce you to the canvas, so go through the sections. It was to say, actually, this is why we might do this at different levels, and then give you some experience of using it. Plus, the massive benefit for me is to get that feedback from you guys, like the kind of the dawning of the kind of safe expanding, like compressing model. I think is going to be brilliant. Actually, I'm going to go make that tonight, to be honest, I think. So that's really useful for me. Does anyone have any other questions? It don't have to be about this. It can be about AI. It can be about anything. Any other questions? Yes. Oh,
sorry.
So online. Let's go online. Sorry.
Are there any local community meetups? Are there any local community or meetups in Reading to help do AI and ML?
To help do it.
Sorry, as in there should be communities which meet in Reading to discuss the learning and keep motivated around these areas.
Okay. Yes, there are. So we're talking about AI, and we'll be talking about AI and various different things. But yesterday, as an example, Adam was talking at the Thames Valley AI Summit, which was up at White Knights at the university, and it was brilliant. There were people from academia there. There were people from industry like Adam. There were people from creative industries. It was really, really good. There was a couple of hundred people there. Really good. Yeah. So that was brilliant. And so look up the stuff that Thames Valley AI are doing. The Google Developer Group, I assume, are doing some AI stuff and some Vertex stuff, but I haven't seen that. It's not on my list at the moment. But
right. There's also Reading Geek Nights. I think they're doing talks. Stephen Morris was doing a talk on AI, I believe, in the local area.
Yep.
They meet in 0 degrees.
0 degrees. Yes. So Stephen Morris was meant to be here tonight, but yeah.
That was one. Yes, of course. Yeah.
Excellent. So the answer to online is yes, there are.
Yes.
And luckily, we will actually show you some of the ones which are coming up. Actually, some of them are London, not Reading. Boo, London. But that's just because that's the way it is. Cool. So we had a question in the room. Oh, go Adam. Go Adam.
Yeah, so just coming from a developer kind of a background,
Yep.
and just seeing this for the first time, the question I have is, how would you differentiate what Jira is doing versus what AI strategy canvas is like? What would be a substantial difference between both of them, which would make me choose this
Yep.
for,
And for me, the reason I tend to use canvases is when I'm getting multiple people to do stuff, or if I don't know where I'm starting from. So if I abstract away from this canvas, the most classic canvas is a thing called the business model canvas. So if you are trying to set up a company, the BMC is brilliant. Yeah. So basically, it asks you questions you may not think about asking yourself. Okay. And that's what it's there for. It kind of helps you about how you set up and shape a company. Similarly for this, that's what this was designed for, is to go, actually, if I don't know the questions in the domain space, this should help me and tease it out for me. You could have this conversation with an AI because, as we were talking about, that's where lots of this came from. Because I had a conversation with an AI about how you produced a canvas about doing AI strategy. Okay, so you can have that conversation with an AI, but this is quite nice in terms of that structure. The other thing canvases give you is a way to kind of do it on a wall, do it on a screen, do it on Miro on a big board collectively. So you can have multiple people putting their thoughts into the same place. And then you kind of get to that convergent point. So that's why I like canvases in general. Cool.
There's a specific thing you can remember about Jira. Jira is literally for tasks. Jira's is you know what you want to do, even if it's kind of vague. It's a to-do list, mainly at the core of it. It can have tons of customization on it. I think we've all suffered through a lot of Jira customization, but in essence, it is a to-do list. Right? That's why, in that sense, if you're trying to just at least write out stuff, kind of go with this kind of tools, and then when you actually come to the I need to execute this, then you can start putting it on Jira. We've had previous experience with that, of taking an approach of using Miro to kind of hash out what we're going to do. We know kind of what the tasks are, but we need to break them down. We need to figure out what they have. Because a lot of times, I think we've all been in the receiving end of really poor requirements. I want reports of what and what for, all that kind of stuff. And you kind of use those to break it down to define what you need. And then from that point on, you go like, okay, we have small, like at least stickers that we can actually map out into tasks in Jira and then track from there.
Absolutely.
Very quick one from me. Can we use these to experiment in our environment?
You can use it. Yeah. So
do you want some specific credit for it?
No. So go to the Miraverse, click on the link, use it. That's what it's there for, to be honest. Yes, we'll go back to those in a second. Is the next one on one of those? No. No, that's about QR code about connecting to me. It's self-indulgence at that point. But yeah, so please do go and use it. I mean, like the fact that we have this Miraverse page is intended for people just go and download it. I mean, I said I put this up like on Thursday last week, and 170 people have downloaded it so far, which is great. I want more people to use it. The thing that we get out of it, when you download it, it says I'm digital at the top. It says I'm digital at the bottom. It has a link if you want to come and talk to us, etc., etc. If you want to use it, you can delete all those things and put whatever you like on it. I don't care. Yeah, but you have downloaded it and you have seen the thing that says I'm digital at some point. Okay, so that's the benefit of the Miraverse, is you can download these things, you can play with them and sort them and change them and do all that kind of stuff, because there's no point having a template which is non-fungible. Yeah, you need fungible templates because you may want to go and play with them and do them differently. So yes, I mean, it's Creative Commons, it's blah blah blah, it's all that kind of stuff. Open source. Yeah.
Platforms, right? One for work, one for customers. So there are.
Sorry, it's not for the people in the online.
No, okay, I got it. So there are a number of platforms, right? You got ChatGPT, and you got Grok, and there's about 8 or 9, right? One is a DeepSeek Chinese. There's a French one as well. Is it La Chat or something? No, it's a French one.
So yes.
How
do you choose?
How do you choose? Okay. And then secondly, if the company migrates from one AI platform to other, how do we make sure the data can be transferred?
Okay. The flippant answer to how do you choose tends to be A, do you dislike XYZ tech bro? Okay. So which one of the tech bros do you like or dislike? And or geopolitically, do you dislike this country versus this country? Okay. And so it's interesting when you're starting to look at the kind of model development stuff at the moment. So obviously tech bros in the US, hyperscalers building things. What are you doing? Okay. Tech bros in the US, hyperscalers trying to master this. Chinese government trying to make sure that they actually are doing this stuff. The Chinese models are kind of really good, but again, then you have to have this conversation of do I want Elon Musk having my information at some level, or do I want the Chinese state to have my information at some level? Okay, and these are the sorts of techno-political questions to answer, which is why it's interesting looking at the kind of development of the Indian market, Indian models. There was one that came out from Switzerland's government like 2 weeks ago, which is, again, they're trying to say they're Swiss and they're neutral and all that kind of stuff. But again, it's still the same thing. So, yep.
The data set it's trained on, the US ones are very US focused. So if you want to reinforce that in the algorithms, then it's US. But if you want to be diverse.
Yeah, I think that's what I was saying, right? Is there something is visible to say what models being trained by what sort of data, how regularly that is, right? So if you think about the AI platforms, majority of them have this deep kind of learning, which means that they grab all the information from the internet, right?
Yep.
And they run it with normally takes quite long. They run it, all the information they probably is half year back, right?
Yep.
That's very expensive. And then they have a dynamic one, which is whenever you input, they tweak it. So is there any information online, which I don't know, I can't see it, is how regularly that deep learning actually rerun, right?
Okay. I know how you can find this in the Google side. So if you use Google's AI Studio, you can look at the kind of cut dates of all the different models. You can choose which model you're using, but also the grounding stuff you're talking about kind of how it uses Google's semantic search is really useful as well. It goes out and goes and gets the live information. And so therefore, when I think we're going to get to a point where the models will need to continue to move along, but actually moving along at kind of really, really fast pace. Are you about to show us, Adam?
There is no. I've gone to the wrong side.
That's it.
There is a great website called LLM Arena.
Nice.
Where people can.
Yeah, I've seen that one. But they're not showing. So they're saying how the model works, right? When the latest release. But what they're not showing is what sort of
what was
data
included,
set, right?
Yep.
And what's included, and when was the last time they searched with the
Yep.
internet, right? So
Yep.
lots of them like half year ago, some are more updated more regularly to the latest data.
Yes.
It's difficult. I think one of the things we're going to start to see now is there is more content being generated by LLMs than there is by humans, and a lot of those big AI places are worried. They don't want to train their LLMs on the LLM generated content. So the next arena is how do you train these things?
Have to have kind of clean data set, right, which has not been touched.
Yeah.
Not been touched by AI.
Yeah.
And do we have that?
Or not.
Journalists are the people producing
British
it.
library.
It's
Maybe.
already tricky because we already see many scenarios of things picking up on things that other LLMs picked up from the first LLM,
Exactly.
but then they pass them on as references.
Yep.
On the subject of when's the latest data that they were trained on, so most of the chatbots would have as part of the system instructions the date when their knowledge.
Yeah.
So that's something that the humans put in when they release a new.
Yeah.
They typically update the system instructions to tell you about it. So you can just ask it yourself what data are on the train or up to what point does your knowledge of current events is from.
Yep.
Truth is, there's no enforcement of this.
No.
It's at the
What was it? Where was it from?
whoever runs the-
But we also are moving towards a small language model on device, so edge device kind of AI space, where actually, do I actually need billions and billions of nodes, or do I just need what I actually can run on my phone? Yeah, because actually it's good enough. Yeah, and then it does enough external grounding with a semantic search on the way out. Yeah, and so therefore we're going to find this interesting balance. Again, nobody knows the answer to this. If we did know the answer to this, we'd be selling it. Cool. Okay. So that is us done. Any other questions? Any other AI random questions? Go for it. Oh, where's the little mic gone?
I think most of the people already know it, but 95% of projects, which MIT did a study, the 95% of the AI-based projects are failure.
Yep.
But still AI is, it's trending.
Yep.
What is in AI, that's still an enabler, I'll say, apart from being an enabler.
Yeah. So 95% of the initiatives and things are failing because people are playing. Yeah. People haven't got a strategy, they haven't got a structure, and they haven't got that. Even if it's a fail, let's imagine you've got a strategy that says I'm going to measure A, B, and C, and I prove that to be incorrect. That's a good test. Yeah. It may be a business failure, but it's a good test. And so therefore, if you go about it from an experimental point of view rather than a playing point of view, I think we'll move from 95% failed to 50% failed. The other thing is if you are a hyperscaler who's put hundreds of billions into this, you're going to keep hyping this. And people are going to keep wanting to buy it because they're going to bring out the new one. Yeah. So I think the hype has to continue until either the bubble bursts or someone works out how to make more money at the hyperscaler end for this.
It's also about the extensive tuning, right? Because whatever initially we are doing, the initial studies were on the initially released models, and how we can actually tune it better to cater to our users. That matters.
And finding all those use cases and finding how it works and make it, because like the amount of people that when we said what do you use it for at the moment, meeting notes is literally the entry drug for AI. Yeah, because nobody likes writing meeting notes. Gemini is really good at making them now. Yeah, like it was rubbish 6 months ago. It was terrible 12 months ago. And like it's actually quite good now. It's the entry point for that. It will just keep on doing those things. Can you justify hundreds of billions of investment for meeting notes? No, but it will help people keep getting into it.
With GitHub Copilot, just 6 months ago, I think in a new way, we could use that to use anything you like. And we just tried last week. Oh my gosh, that's amazing! The improvements they made.
Yeah. So this.
You can choose
Which model you're using and how you're using it. And like, so if you go and make me a thing, it will produce you some garbage. If you go produce me a plan, produce me some steps, follow the steps, keep yourself in check the quality of it as you're going through using AI, so chain of thought and chain of kind of process. That's how you end up with good quality. It's the same way, like if we'd given like a one-line sentence to a developer and sent them off for 6 months to go and make something, that'd make some nonsense. Yep, exactly. Cool. Okay. So, one more question. Sorry. Oh, where's the mic gone? I'm not sure if this mic is actually helping people online or not, but it's making us run around. So that's good.
Sorry. I'd actually like to say two things. First thing is about that 95% comment. Yes. 95% of all AI projects do not bring any revenue because one theory is that all the revenue that companies have made by implementing AI, all of that revenue is actually been going into research and development for AI, and AI being a very new technology, it's also very expensive. Like take for example ChatGPT. They might take like subscription fees from us, but they're actually running on VC money right now.
Yeah.
Because for AI, every prompt costs money. You pay ChatGPT. ChatGPT pays AWS for data centers, and AWS because AI needs like a lot of huge computational power. AWS has to buy GPUs from NVIDIA. So the chain of money is massive, and because it's being very, very expensive, that's also one of the reasons. At least it's my theory that
it will carry on until someone makes enough money out of it somewhere. Because
yes, precisely.
Exactly. Yeah.
So my question was that so how is the future of this meetup going to be? Is there going to be a lot of AI talks? Is there going to be a lot of?
So the next talk. See, good question. Thank you. Which is lovely because it actually allows me to segue on to the final slide. Oh, where's that gone? Oh, I may have hidden the slides. So I apologize. What did I do? I haven't got the shout out slide. Oh, it's on the other deck. No. which allows me to segue onto this slide here. Hey, good. Okay, so we will come on to us, but also the whole idea of communities is to share with other communities and what's going on in other places. So, question was like what are we gonna do? Yeah, we will be talking about data next. That's the one at the bottom of here. But the interesting thing in the communities, in the community of communities, there's loads of other stuff going on. I did say there's quite a lot of stuff here which is in London. And the reason we set up Agile Reading in the first place was to avoid going into London, but there still is stuff that actually happens in London. It's quite a big place. You may have heard of it. So tomorrow there are a set of AI ones. So AI augmented Agile, which is the Agile Evangelist. I don't know if they're doing it online or not, but again, this is the link to it on Meetup. So there's that tomorrow. Also, Agile London are doing it at Charlotte Tilbury. Charlotte Tilbury, the makeup brand. I didn't know what Charlotte Tilbury was. We did some work for them for about 6 months. I now know what Charlotte Tilbury is. It's all pink gold and amazing. It's beautiful. So if you want to go to Charlotte Tilbury's office, which is down off the Strand, go there tomorrow. It's lovely. It's really, really nice. So you can go and talk about Agile stuff at Agile London there. There's also another one tomorrow, which is the future of AI is not a chatbot, which is from AI for the rest of us. So again, that is online. So which is really interesting. They run a really good conference, which is coming up in October, I think. So it's about AI, not from an engineering point of view. It's AI for the rest of us. Yeah. So that's what that one is. Another AI one. So Product Ops asked me anything, and the AI opportunity is missing at Product Tank in Oxford. So again, you have to go to Oxford for that. But again, the lovely people at Product Tank in Oxford. That's on next Tuesday. Next Thursday, there is a tech quiz. So it's the new meetup that started about a month ago. Thames Valley Tech. So we went to Brewdog about a month ago and had some beers. This one, I think, is at Blue Collar for doing a tech quiz. So if you want to meet some tech people, go to that one. AI Meetup, which is another London one. Reading Geek Night, the next session I had on their list to do was on the 14th. I didn't know there was one yesterday, sorry. Reading's Digital Revolution. So the person who's curated the Reading Digital exhibit at Reading Museum is coming to go and give that talk. So if you've been to Reading Museum, there's a whole new room which is Reading's digital heritage. Yeah, so there's a lot of digital in Reading. People think about Reading and think of like bricks and bulbs and beer and all those sorts of bees and things. It's also technology. So there's a whole kind of piece on that. So go to that, and then finally come back here in a month's time. Yeah, so we'll be doing it in this room again, similar sort of format. We will hopefully make sure all our online stuff is working, but come back here to hear Sue talk about data challenges. So hopefully that answers some of the questions. Okay. The other side of that question, the next thing that we will have in our November session, we'll be moving away from technology because we're talking about future skills. So the session in November, we will be talking about resilience and psychology. Okay. So the human side. Okay. We're going to do AI, then data, then human, and then our December session, which will be here as well, will actually be playing games. So we won't cover the pool table. We won't do stuff. We'll be having some beers and we'll be playing some games. Okay, so we're doing Christmas drinks and talking about stuff. Cool. Sibs? Yep.
Like a dilemma in my mind. I use some AI tools.
Sorry, do you want this?
So let's say I use some AI tools. I'm a beginner like Copilot, ChatGPT. If I use it for some work perspective, should I be disclosing to my colleagues that I've used this to come out with an output that has been accepted or not?
So if you mean from your and work?
General. Let this question be a
I
generic.
would love you to use as many AIs as you like. I don't need you as the CIO you to tell me which AIs you've used. I don't want you to use AIs which are in our blocks list.
Of course. So you give me a task, I work on that, I give you the output. Should I tell you that this is? That's fine. Okay.
I think there's been this sort of strange guilt about using AI and actually it's done my job for me and all that kind of stuff. Again, use it. I like with people, everybody else around you are, and I don't think there's personal disclosure required. I just don't. So from a control point of view. I just don't want people using stuff they shouldn't be using. Yeah, like unlicensed versions of X, don't use. Yeah, fully licensed, fully controlled within the corporate environment versions of Y, do use.
Cool. Thank you.
Cool. Just, okay. Lovely. So I think we have just about reached time as well. So that's about 7:30ish. Final call. If anybody would like to speak at this event, please get in contact with me or Adam. Our next event slot is going to be January 2026. So it gives you enough time to think about what you might want to do. So if you have an idea, want to come and talk, please do. You can see it's quite easy. It's quite fun. The group's quite nice. As we start to do more of these, more people will come, which is great. But if you want to do a talk, please let us know. Otherwise, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Cool. So stick around if you want. We'll be here for a little bit, tidying up and stuff. If you want to buy some more drinks, I'm sure the bar will be happy. But
If you're buying drinks, just use one of these because you'll get 15% off. Not 15.
Very happy.